This is the translation of Luang Pu's reflection on his birthday, the 2nd of February 2023. At the beginning of the session, Mannings and some Vietnamese arrived and then met with Luang Pu before Hung Le's group arrived. He said that when you are in Thailand, you come to Thailand to study the principle of Buddhist teachings. At Rom Bodhitham Temple, you are taught to ask for forgiveness and give forgiveness. To ask for forgiveness, it will be most effective when you have gained enough mind strength and the power of meritful retribution. However, if you always conduct bad karma, you are not creating any good conduct, then the forgiveness that you are doing will not work very well. It is as simple as that. In Thailand, Theravada is the main sect of Buddhist practice. Luang Pu said that Theravada is the perfect approach in Buddhism. It upholding or following Buddha's way directly. Only those who are enlightened or have the breakthrough of the Buddha's Dhamma can convey the message and give teachings. If the teacher is not enlightened yet, he cannot teach or spread the words of the Buddha because it might be wrong. Because Buddha's Dhamma or the principle of Buddhist teaching is very refined and profound. So the teachers has to be aware that they might creating some faults or some wrongs. Then Luang Pu asked the audience, after I said all this, any of you understand what I'm saying? And everybody is like kept quiet because they don't know Thai, so they don't know what he's saying. So Manning and Luang Pu just laugh out loud because all the Vietnamese audience, they could not understand and I didn't translate. Then Hung Le's group arrived, so Luang Pu invited them to sit down. He said that he has songs to sing for them. He has stories to share, deep and profound stories. He also has profound principle of Buddhism, of Buddha's Dhamma to share, but you will not understand what he is about to share with you. This is like playing a music instrument for buffalo or the animal that would not know this melodious sound. And then he just sang like jokingly, do dong doi dong do dong doi. And then he turned to Manning, you don't need to translate that, which is like, it has no meaning. It's just like funny sound. He said to the audience that there is no need for a translator. When you come to Thailand, you should learn Thai and you should be able to listen to the Dhamma directly from the teachers. Then the newcomer started to offer him some money and other stuff. So Luang Pu is making another joke, saying like, okay, now it's time for me to receiving taxes. He think like the money that give to him is like the money that you are paying the tax. So he said, I receive unlimitedly because this is the time of building and construction. Luang Pu is having many projects this year. So some of the audience sang him a birthday song and gave him a cake with little candles for him to extinguish. So he waved to put off the fire on the candles, and they said this is a sign of extinguishing the heat. So Manning will explain here that fire and heat in Buddhist belief is compared to suffering. It's compared to something that give you uncomfortable feeling, burning karma, like that. So he wish you to be at peace, to be cool, to be happy, full of joy. And then he just mumbling to himself, this is custom, this is culture. And then he said to the audience, said, remember the culture of the Buddhists. He said when he was younger, he wandered in the world, just like travel the world, like around the world. Then when he returned home, he came back to Thailand after the war. It was heavy. The karma was heavy for him. So he faces suffering. He had to turn and study Buddhist culture. Now he is in love with the charm of Buddhist culture. He tell everybody to sit in comfort and relax. And then he share with them, this is the time that he is busy building and construct some project, like he's building his new kuti, he's building an orphanage, and he have plans to build the Dhamma center for bhikkhuni and female practitioner. He carry on saying that his life now, he is at the state that could be compared to the late evening time of the day, which means the sun is almost setting. He is nearly the time of saying goodbye to this life. However, he is full of experience. He has songs that he can sing for his descendants or his followers. He has stories to tell. He have the story of Buddhist culture to share with us. And then he turned to a Vietnamese lady who came from Switzerland. He recognized her face, and then he asked her, are you coming here alone? is your husband. She was very happy that he could remember her and her husband when they came to visit him the last time that they came to this part of the world. She could not believe it, and she complimented that he has a very young mind. He have good memories, even that he said that he's already getting old. So Kim Bin replied to Luang Pu that her husband need to work and find money for her to come and learn Buddhist culture or Buddha's Dhamma. Then she introduced to him her sister that came from Germany and said that her mother-in-law is also here, but she is now in the kitchen making pho or the Vietnamese noodle to offer to Luang Pu. And he said, "Oh, I miss the Vietnamese noodle." Then Luang Pu turned to Manning and asked about Dr. Huang. He said to Manning that Dr. Huang is not here this year, right? So I said, no, she could not make it, but she had already sent offerings to offer to him for his birthday. So he sent thanks back to Dr. Huang. I also told Luang Pu that Dr. Huang and her group will send monthly dana for Luang Pu to make offering or creating any meritful activities. So he said, tell Dr. Huang she can support in all these building projects that is going on. And again he said ขอบคุณครับ ขอบคุณครับ which means thanks to them. Luang Pu said that Dr. Huang is the force or the troop that would carry on this mission of spreading Buddhism and prolong the Buddhist culture, turning the Dhamma wheels in order to share Buddha's Dhamma to the eyes of the world, for beings in the world to come to peace, to the place that is cool, is not burning. Buddhism is not like other religions in terms of we focusing on peace and harmony. There is no killings and fighting or any teaching that would lead people to go into disharmony. Luang Pu said he is too old to fight in the war now, so this time is for the younger generations to turn the wheel of Dhamma to spread peace and harmony to the world amongst all these wars that is happening in the world. They are the front line in the battlefield, and Luang Pu will give them moral support. Their mission is to unite all different sects in Buddhism to become one. And then Luang Pu exclaimed, "Oh, I want to shout out to the world that I love them all." And then he said, when I shout out my love, it means that I'm telling them to practice Dhamma and study Buddhism, so they can use the Dhamma that they have learned as the light that can shine their way in life. If they don't have this Dhamma principle, they will be in darkness, and this darkness will lead them to fighting and killing one another. For Luang Pu Phat, now he can only send moral support because to take his physical body into war is a bit difficult. So he told the audience that he already mentioned his illness or the condition that he had with Manning before this group arrived, that he had difficult time breathing, both breathing in and breathing out. It was not normal, and he think cigarette is the big part of his problem. However, he thought that if he going to die, he will not be dead so easily if he come to Phasam Yot. He had told many people that were sick to come and experience the nature in this valley, Phasam Yot Valley. He considered his sickness this time is quite serious, because when he felt that he cannot breathe, he stand up and then he sat down. He stood up and then he sat down, trying to breathe, but he don't know where the breathing went. It was not like in his lung. It's just like gone. So he tried to breathe again and again, and then he said, "Oh, this is serious." So he found the remedy in his own way. He sat and meditate. Then he got up and then he did the walking meditation from 1 a.m. until sunrise, and then he felt much better. He called this the Dhamma therapy. When other people that living in the same compound with Luang Pu found out that he didn't sleep and he had the problem, they were so worried. So he told them not to worry. He cannot live this life yet because his duty, his work is not yet finished. Then he drove more than 500 kilometers to Phasam Yot fromศรีสะเกษ. When he arrived at Phasam Yot, he directly went into his bedroom and got some medicine that he made and kept there and drank it. Then he sat where he was sitting and went into meditative absorption, and his astral body came out of his physical body. It was trying to fly out somewhere. However, the coconut tree, he pointed at a tall coconut tree in front of his kuti, had stopped him, so his astral body came back to his physical body. So he said that this shows that even he is old and sick, his astral body or his soul is not old or sick. It can still go out and wander around without having the condition of being old or being sick. his soul or his astral body can still go traveling and can still also go to the battlefield. He said the reason that he shared with us that now he's getting old, but because of Dhamma practices that he been doing resulted in having a crystal clear, cheerful and delightful mind. You can also use nature as external remedy. By being with nature, it will help as remedy to heal and extinguish the burning heart and hot emotion. When Luang Pu practiced in the forest, when he was a forest monk who wandered in the forest, he used to sit down and just stare at all the leaves on the trees. His mind became at peace, so he glanced or looked at all the leaves that sway or move by the wind. Just from looking at those leaves, he got to know all the leaves in the forest. His mind composed and became the one mind state or a single mind state, which could be compared to the Buddha's mind. Luang Pu has fought in the war for 8 years, and he had encountered or saw millions of dead people. Then he has to turn to the opposite way, which is the way of a peaceful forest monk. Luang Pu has fought in both Vietnam War and Indochina War. When the war ended, he took the supplies that still left in the army camp where he was based to share out to the people or the war victims. So some Vietnamese people who got this offering from him, they still remember him as the famous North Star Sergeant. So he is missing Vietnam because when he was young, he has a lot of feelings for the country and the people. He even dated some Vietnamese ladies when he was young. He had seen how the war victim has hunger. They were starving for food. So after they declare the ending of the war, he is not yet get the order to return back to Thailand. So he started giving out all the supply, food supply, medical supply for those who are hungry and in need. So in Laos and Vietnam at the time, the North Star Sergeant was famous and popular among the people. When he thought about those times, he wished not to be soldier. He wanted to be a monk instead, because he think when young men became soldiers, they are vigorous, headstrong, naughty, and stubborn. Sometimes they could create heavy sin or sinful karma. He wanted more to be an ordained person or a monk. Then he make a joke. He said, "It seems like Luang Po is having advantage." He talked about Luang Po Po Si, because Luang Po Po Si had ordained since he was very young, and Luang Pu was ordained when he was like already near to his 30s, like elder age. But he laughed, Luang Pu laughed and said, "But I think I'm higher than Luang Po." Because Luang Pu has been through a lot more in life than Luang Po. Luang Po has no life experience like Luang Pu. Luang Pu said, in the next era that is approaching, it will be the era of war. There will be conflict and fight, battles and killings. We will survive if we study Dhamma. If we don't start studying Dhamma and put it into practice, we will not survive. The war will definitely happen. And when the World War started, Luang Pu can lead us to be safe. Luang Pu has mountains, forests, and cave for us. We will not be lack of food. Luang Pu has food supply for those who practice Dhamma. He cannot save all mankind, not even the villagers, because there will be too many of them. So only those who practice Dhamma, Luang Pu can take them for evacuation. They can be residing in some cave. Some cave is very big. It could take as many as 3,000 people. So Luang Pu said to Manning, all the songs that he sing, all the Dhamma he gave, so mix them well and translate for the audience. He said that he is not a preacher, so there's not much that he can teach verbally or through words. However, he can share stories and life experience that he has actually been through. All stories are the true life experience that he had. It is not from a textbook that he read or anything. This is his true attributes and characteristics. So translate and share with the audience.